I am here with Senator Kelly Loeffler, who is running in a contentious Senate runoff race that is slated for January 5th. And today we just received a breaking report from the Washington Free Beacon about her opponent, Reverend Raphael Warnock. And it is related to some information about his time overseeing a camp. And there were some reports of mistreatment of children, and now one has come out that is, on record from one of the people that was mistreated, and he speaks about a lawsuit that was involved in the camp. So, Senator Loeffler, I wanted to ask you about what specifically was Warnock's role in overseeing this camp, and how does it speak to his qualifications as a Senate candidate?
Well, Ashley, thank you for this interview. Look, during our debate at the start of this month, I asked Raphael Warnock what was the nature of the abuse at this camp that police officers were called to investigate. He was later arrested for obstructing investigations into this alleged child abuse. And now the details are coming out. And first, let me say that my heart goes out to the victim that has talked about this publicly, goes out to all victims impacted by child abuse. This is a very serious issue. That's why I used one of my questions at the debate, because Georgians deserve to know. And what we've learned today is really very sad. It's disgusting. It should be disqualifying for serving in the U.S. Senate. This victim said that he was one of the leaders of the camp, and this camp was subsequently shut down, and Raphael Warnock left that church after this. And so, I think Georgians deserved those answers, and I'm glad that we've finally started to uncover what happened there.
Yeah, and so we kind of knew this was going on, but we didn't know any of these specifics until today. And Raphael Warnock has provided some defense. Can you speak to what he has said, or any justification that he has provided thus far for his involvement in what went on?
Well, he actually hasn't answered any questions. All we know is what we know from the police report. The facts in the police report say that they had never encountered resistance like that. And it was very alarming to them when they were trying to investigate on behalf of these children. And that's why I wanted to get to the bottom of it, because, the mainstream media won't ask these questions of him. He's refused to answer these questions about domestic abuse. His wife has been shown on camera. I've asked him if he would denounce Marxism and socialism. He won't answer those questions. And he won't answer a simple question about, will you pack the Supreme Court? Will you support that? So look, there's a lot more questions too. Why did he celebrate Fidel Castro in his church? These are answers that Georgians need to know, and certain of these answers will certainly be disqualifying.
Obviously, you guys, polls are showing this race is very close, surprisingly, with Raphael Warnock, even with the emergence of all of these, controversial speeches and sermons and writings, and now this report today. Given what we have seen with the numbers so far related to voting, over 2 million people have voted already, and polls are showing the race, basically a tie. How do you think the early voting numbers fare for Republicans right now with that big of a turnout, based on what went on in the general election? How do you see that working out for Republicans?
Well, it's absolutely critical that Georgians get out and vote. And President Trump was here earlier this month. He said, you need to exercise your right to vote, get out and vote for David Perdue and Kelly Loeffler. He, like the rest of the country, know that the future of America is on the ballot here, January 5th. That's why early voting is so critical. We need every single Georgian to get out and vote for David Perdue and Kelly Loeffler to make sure that we hold the line against socialism and the radical agenda that Chuck Schumer has promised to change America with. And his radical agents of change are Raphael Warnock and Jon Ossoff. They would be a rubber stamp for this liberal progressive agenda that would raise taxes, that would open our borders, that would usher in the Green New Deal, that would crush small businesses and farmers and really radically change our energy infrastructure in America now that we've finally achieved energy independence. But look, there's no limit to dark money that's coming in from liberal activists pouring over the borders in Georgia, trying to change the direction of this vote. But we need to make sure that we have a decisive win on January 5th, because we know here in Georgia that we're the firewall to socialism.
Speaking on the radical agenda that you're referring to with the Democrats and Senator Chuck Schumer, we are seeing a lot of conversation about coronavirus relief right now because of the package that just passed. And you are one of the senators, most of the senators who voted for it. Can you speak a little bit to why you chose to vote for that package, despite some criticism coming from the Democrat side about the direct payments or other negotiations that were involved in the bill?
Well, look, Democrats have held up this relief for months. This is relief that David Perdue and I have been pushing since July. This is a unique time in our country. We need to come together as Americans and help each other through this. That's why I've been pushing to get this relief package. I'm glad it's done. I thank the president for signing it. He's been working to bring our country past this. Operation Warp Speed delivered a vaccine in record time. That was achieved under this president. That's what happens when you send business people to Washington to deliver results. That's why David Perdue and I need to get reelected. But look, here's the deal. This package has a lot of relief. It's not just the direct payments. It's a $300 a week top up on unemployment. It's relief for schools, for childcare facilities so that parents can go back to work. It's relief to deliver the pandemic, for hospitals, for farmers. And so this package is targeted. It repurposes, importantly, funds that were not used in the original coronavirus package, upwards of $400 billion, which I think is really important to know, because it's not new funding. It's simply making it more targeted from what we authorized back in March. So we also need to make sure this economy reopens. Look, the Democrats are the party of lockdowns. They're the party of, government control over people's lives. We want people to have those freedoms to send their kids to school so that they can get back to work and that we can get this economy reopened safely while we get the funding out to deliver the vaccine. That's all the stuff the Democrats were holding up while they locked our cities down.
As I know in California right now on the Breitbart News homepage, we are talking about how it seems like endless lockdowns are going on in California. As far as applying that logic to Georgia, do you agree with the way that they are handling the virus over there?
I don't agree with what California is doing at all. Look, Georgia, we reopened at the end of April safely. We're today open and we're taking precautions. We're following the guidelines. We're in the bottom 5 in the country of case infection rates. Meanwhile, California is spiking off the charts. They're totally locked down. Their unemployment rate is double that of Georgia's 4.5%. We're below the national average because we've figured out how to do this in a way that respects the severity of the virus, but also respects hardworking Georgians' right to be at their jobs, at their schools, worshiping in church, and we need to keep making sure we're moving in the right direction.